Hi friends, this is Mangla Pratap and Muralidharan talking from India. Those of you who've watched this video first time, I would like to introduce myself. I'm a teacher, educator, textbook writer, course developer, corporate trainer, and above all, a poet in English. I do conduct test preparation training programs for IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT, SAT, Pearson Test of English, Academic, and Duolingo. And I do have some corporate training programs for corporates, and I've trained more than 16,000 employees of some of the best IT companies and you know more than 40,000 professionals across the country and outside the country too. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the new dynamics of education. Yes, friends, today education plays a vital role in shaping our attitude and creating possibly a new career path for all of us. Most of us happen to really invest a lot in online education. In other words, digitized learning content has become inevitable for all of us because we need to use digitized learning technologies to empower our students and to make sure that most of them enjoy the process of learning through interactive methods of learning. In other words, there is a possibility and scope for interaction in digital online coaching. And I've been an advocate of online coaching for some time, irrespective of the difficulties that we face in terms of direct classroom learning, which would have been otherwise considered the best part of the best, you know, process of learning. Within the classroom, you look at the student, you possibly have, try to smile at the student and see how effective the learning process is. And you can check then and there and make sure that you can provide additional inputs whenever required. Whereas in online coaching, you need to seek, their support, approval, consent, and try to ask them further. And sometimes you don't get responses at all. So that is again a sad state of reality which we can't run away with. Okay, the new dynamics of education is all about how we're going to train our students for the future. Right? Education is not just all about acquiring information and processing information to to achieve something. No, it is not about skill building alone. It is also about critical thinking, right? Do we really make our students to think critically? That's a big question that we all of us need to really answer at the moment, right? So most of us are influenced by the media ads. In other words, media has become the most important influencer of all time, especially now. Most of the children who have access to social media and mass media are completely influenced by the media. They don't seem to really think beyond the media. To a certain extent, they do think, some of them think about it, but that seems to be a very microscopic minority. Otherwise, majority of us are obsessed with the media constructed realities. In other words, we go by media constructed reality. Please remember, the postmodernism talks about media reality as hyper reality or a reality which is a construct of the mind. Yes, of course. So the gap between the fact and fiction has disappeared to a certain extent in our discursive life. And this is very important to be noticed that we need to really ensure that our children understand and discern the fact from fiction, right? How do we do this? So we need to provide media criticism at the school level and the college level. We need to help them to interpret advertisements which they watch. Apart from all these, the students also should be motivated to ask themselves what is the agenda of this advertisement? What is the agenda of this particular film? Or what could be the possible ideology that they are trying to sell out through their films or advertisements or podcasts or all types of broadcasts or print media ads, etc. So we have to train the young minds to interpret what's happening. In other words, corporate constructed reality is going to dominate our discourse most of the time. Most of the corporates are going to really decide on how we think and what we buy, etc. It's a kind of artificial intelligence that they make use of and their algorithms to identify our choices, to analyze and understand our preferences, or to be taken into account. So we have to really make sure that we don't fall prey for it, we don't get victimized for it. Instead, we train our students to understand how to empower themselves critically, in other words, with a discerning sense of identifying facts from fiction. So that's very important. So media criticism is one of the most important thing that we have to keep in mind when it comes to the present day education system. Second, will not also help them to survive in this world wherein the mix of fact and fiction taking place all the time. So we have to help them to build their own brands, build their own images, build their own networks. So why do we create a network? Please remember, a classroom itself is a very powerful network of learning and teaching, wherein the best learner supports all those moderate learners to achieve the best. So the support system in the classroom is very important. So we'll have to create interactive methods of learning where mutual trust and mutual support could possibly lead to better learning. So learning is all about how do we do better, how do we discover one's own potential, and we also should understand our potential has to be supported by someone. In other words, it should be complementary to one another. So whenever you think about learning is not all about solo learning or individual learning. Of course, there is some scope for individualized learning, but I do really recognize the potential for group learning or collaborative learning, which ought to be nurtured at every level, because we need to collaborate with others, right? Otherwise, you will be highly learned or highly knowledgeable or skilled, but you won't get along with any team. So getting along with the team is going to be a big problem for many people because of the pandemic. Because I've seen children who have never played with other children. I've seen college students who have never interacted with their classmates except through the phone. So there is no collaborative activity or a team activity, which is the norm of the day. We need to really think about, educating people through collaborative activities, wherein they are positively using their cooperation and collaboration to achieve the best, right? So learning also should be activity based. We need to create activities which they can possibly participate in team or on their own at some point of time or the other, and they should carry out individual research and analyze what's going on in order to come up with their own results. Please remember, individualized research should become part of our curriculum and education. Every individual has to be motivated to conduct research in some area or the other, so that the research outputs of the learner will be of some use to the entire learning community and the teaching community, and above all to the entire society. Such research activities or projects could be done with the guidance of the teachers or peer researchers. But there is, of course, research being conducted, but seems to be ending up in bogus research. It seems to be a recycling of the existing research projects, which is a cause of great concern in the modern university system here. So, copying somebody's research or replicating somebody's research, using spinbot to copy their research and reframing the sentences and trying to prove that as their own research has become almost a fashion today. So most people obtain their degrees out of it. That should not be the case, and I'm sure we can try to look at genuine research as an important aspect of our education system, and we need to create a research attitude in the minds of the school children, and that could be laboratories, and there could be scientists supporting children to experiment with what they want to know, etc. So we need to emphasize on individual learning, collaborative learning, activity based learning, and research based learning. These are going to be the new dynamics of education today. And I'm sure our free knowledge society will support, and mostly scientists, artists, creative writers, thinkers, all of us who are in the field of education and all kinds of educationists will possibly think about it. Wish you all success. If you want to know more about me, visit me at www.poetmangalapratapan.blogspot.com. Let me repeat www.poetmangalapratapan.blogspot.com. Good luck to you. Wish you all success. Bye bye. See you.